Happy Monday night. Today is November 6th, 2023. This is Across the Pitch. Today we got a little shake-up, little crossover episode as Dave and Jose are both unavailable tonight. But thankfully, I'm joined by a much more pleasant duo, Kyle and Jillian Almany of the One Team We Agree On. Thank you guys for coming tonight. Last minute additions here. Jillian, I'll start with you first. How are you doing tonight?
Doing great, and thanks for having us on. Yeah, it's as I told my students, like I'm in a great mood today because the Eagles beat the Cowboys last night. So I'm surprised I have any voice left though from screaming at my TV. Just ask Kyle. I like shunned him to the basement because every time he came up, we'd do poorly, and I sent him back down, and then we won. So
Yep, pretty
yeah,
much how that went.
Kyle's in the basement moving forward. Kyle, how you doing tonight,
yeah.
man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having us on. As Jillian said, could be a little bit better if the Dolphins would beat the Chiefs in Germany, but
Pins down.
yeah. I mean, we're not there yet. They're not there yet. They're definitely they can't beat the big dogs in the NFL. So, but hey, halfway through the season, they're on bye week. We'll see what happens.
Well, right. I was gonna say we're on the bye week now. I think if we lost last night, it would have been a much longer bye week. Jillian, my heart's still trying to recover from that
Same.
fourth quarter. As soon as they had those three defensive penalties in a row, I'm like, this is it. Season's over. I don't care anymore. And then I was just nail biting all the way down to the end. So somehow we made it through that game.
Yeah.
But listen, we have a quick turnaround in terms of like our stress levels because on Wednesday night we have the Union facing off against the Revolution for game number 2 of this best of 3 series that is the MLS first round playoff. So you guys are both there on Saturday when the Union took on the Revs for game 1. I was there as well. So let's shoot to you first. What were your experiences before the game, at the game, and everything else after that?
Well, we were coaching at a swim meet halfway across the state in the morning, so we had to hightail it out of there, hit the turnpike. Lots of beautiful fall foliage on the way, and got there just at the end of the tailgate. We were there about like 3:30, 3:45 or so, and so we, got in there at the Sons of Ben tailgate and marched in with everyone. Well, I marched in, Kyle did, because he went up to the press box. Got to hand out candy to everyone as we're marching in. That was fun. And yeah, we had a pretty good crowd going there. So that was fun. And then, of course, the river end started filling in, and the rest of the stadium was filling in. At first, I was like, oh, it's not too full, but it filled in once we got going.
Yeah, no, I think from my vantage point, once like I said, I kind of went up ahead of time. And for me, when we got up there and the stadium was filling in, I said to a couple people up there, maybe it's the weather, maybe it's the time of the year with college, high school stuff going on. It just didn't feel like that playoff atmosphere. Because everybody's wearing shorts and a t-shirt, so that whole part. But also it was just interesting that the fact we're getting ready for the players to come marching out, and I'm looking around and I'm saying, man, this stadium's probably a little over half full. It just doesn't feel like it. Now, once kickoff started, it started to fill in really, really well. But overall, the weather was beautiful, and once that river end filled in, it started to come alive real quick.
Yeah, we were all joking that weather was so good.
Oh my God! Well, so Jim is a fellow commenter. He says it was a beautiful night for soccer. Actually, he saw you at the game there, Jillian.
Yeah.
So there you go. You got to see some people out there.
Hey.
Pat Bernard says, "What's up, everybody?" Pat with Edge of Philly Sports. I was actually at Pat's studio on Saturday, right before the game. Beautiful studio out down in PA. So I appreciate you, Pat, having me on. But I thought the same thing, Kyle. I thought maybe because it was Halloween weekend, it's it was really early. It was a 5 p.m. game, so people were like, "Well, I have my kids practice. I have this. I have that." So it didn't feel like it did last year. Maybe it's just because the team's not as good this year, and it's kind of like, we're not really sure, or maybe it's just the playoff format. I think Evan on Twitter was like, the first game didn't really feel like a playoff game because if you lost, it wasn't the end of the world. Now it's like more of a crunch time feel because on Wednesday for the Revs especially, that's it. I mean, that's all they have left. Now I know you. I mean, Kyle, you had a more aerial view than us. What was do you think it was 18,000, 17,000? I didn't hear the attendance record go out.
I would say I didn't hear it either. I would say like 17, maybe.
That's
there were still some holes around, like when I was looking straight down. Well, you've been up there, you know
Yeah.
what I mean. When you look straight down where like the teams are, there were some empty seats, but I would say 17 is a good number. But yeah, I didn't see the count either. It did fill in, and especially once the Union, once Gosdog hit that first PK and the Union went up 1-0, then the place kind of came alive and
Yeah.
it started to feel like a game. I wouldn't say a playoff like Eastern Conference because I don't think it was that kind of hyped yet, but it was definitely kind of started to pick up with the energy as the game went along.
Well, just in terms of like the Union's projection. So as we all know, they finished fourth in the East. Essentially, the only way they would be able to host the MLS Cup final is if St. Louis lost.
Mhm.
By some crazy circumstance, St. Louis lost to Sporting Kansas
Mhm.
City, which makes that draw early in the year look a little bit better for us against Sporting Kansas City. So now there is a chance that the Union could host the MLS Cup. And then also we saw the Cincinnati Miazga got his third yellow card, so he will be absent for the next round. So there's suddenly, it's almost like the planets are slowly kind of aligning for the Union. I mean, do you guys feel a little bit better about this team after what we saw and what's going around the league? Or Jillian, what are you kind of feeling now that the first game's over with?
I'm kind of cautiously optimistic because I feel like maybe it was, a good start to the best of three. I thought we
Yeah.
really came out and played well. Putting 3 goals up was really good. I mean, that 1 goal we conceded wasn't great, but it's not like that's aggregate, so it doesn't really matter. But still, I think our chances, I think it's going to be really telling Wednesday how we come out and perform. Okay, if we can keep that momentum going that we had from the last game, which speaking of momentum, it's really hard when you have so much time in between. But
That's
and we got to
where
go
you
up and
hit the
play on
nail on the head right
turf and all
there.
that. That's the frustrating thing. But and of course, New England, they're playing to keep their season going, so they're going to bring it, and they're at home, so we've got to bring it. But I'd really love to see us just go out and take that game, not have to have it come back to Subaru Park as much as I'd enjoy going to another game there. Let's take care of business.
Well, you
I mean,
mentioned, yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
good. I mean, I'm gonna reserve judgment yet. I mean, that first half was good. Like
Mhm.
that kind of got you like, okay, that's kind of where we want to peak. And then that second half, I mean, if they and Jim said this, they could have put maybe another 2, 3 goals in there,
Yeah,
maybe
they could
not
have.
have that silly goal. Then you kind of go, okay, maybe let's ride this out. But and see where we go the next game. But again, you kind of have that stinker there, and it leaves 3-1. And we had the opportunities, and we just kept missing shots. Like there was that
Mhm.
shot, Ua had that nice chance, and Danny kind of got in the way with that. And then there
Yeah.
was a couple of those other
Mhm.
shots that just the shots were off in that second half, so we couldn't finish our chances. But at the end of the day, we kind of buckled down. Blake did what he needed to do and to kind of keep us
He was great.
from that making it
It really
really
was.
tight there at the end with that one save. You kind of go, okay, if they finish up on Wednesday and now we're heading to Cincinnati, they take care of business at Cincinnati, in Cincinnati, and then wherever the Eastern Conference Finals is, maybe they take it there. Then I think at that point I'm going to be like, all right, now we got a shot because it's going to be at home. But until then, I'm kind of just even keel. I'm not down on them, but it's just been such a long season, Mike, and
It has.
we've talked about this, and I'm not going to go into it anymore because I feel like we've all beaten it, you know, down because we've talked about how long the season is. There's nothing more to add. So
No, it's funny you say that because I think you guys know Elvia, right? I think she was at the game
yeah,
with me on Saturday. So we were texting today actually, and we were saying it's been a long season, but at the same time, it's like that might be like our last home game for a
right.
long, potentially all year. And it's just been like, man, that kind of sucks. Like you miss going to Super Park every single weekend. You miss going there
Mhm.
even
Mhm.
twice, sometimes 3 times in 8 days, just because of the way the schedule's fallen. So it is bittersweet, but you're right. I mean, listen, Kyle, for me, as you guys saw me probably posting earlier, college basketball has started today. So for me, I'm just
Yeah.
excited for this next stretch of college hoops. So part of me just kind of just hopes the Union make it. At the same time, like I kind of want to watch college basketball every day. But in terms of the weather, we kind of got lucky for Wednesday. I don't know if you guys saw the forecast yet.
Mm-mm.
Tuesday night is 50% chance of rain. Thursday night 70% chance of rain. But Wednesday is sunny, 35 degrees as a low. It's not terrible. It could be a lot worse. So the
Mhm.
weather hopefully will hold off. But then again, it is Massachusetts, so I mean, it could snow
Mhm.
for all we know. But in terms of like the outcome of the game, I agree. I think that at the end result, you wanted something like 3-1, 3-0. I'm happy with that. It was really nice to see Ua get on the board, even though it was some like weird fluky
Mhm.
kind of goal.
Hmm.
Nathan Harriel had a big moment there at the end there for his goal. So I think overall the energy is better. I agree with you though, Jillian. Trying to keep the momentum for the next what we still have another 2 days. It's like I mean, what does coach have to say? It's like, hey guys, all right, we got to keep it going. It's like how?
Mhm.
It's already been more than 10 days since this happened. I mean, what do you guys think about? We haven't really talked the three of us about the playoff format. How do you think the playoffs have gone so far? Have you been able to watch any of these matches so far?
Yeah, we've actually been watching a bunch. Like last night, for instance, we were watching.
Hmm.
We watched the Red Bull Cincy game. That was exciting. I mean, I was getting PTSD, watching PKs. It's not even our team in it, and it's like, I don't care, but like that was a crazy game. Of
Mhm.
course, the LAFC Vancouver game last night was nuts.
Oh, that
The
was
end of it,
nuts.
oh my gosh.
Oh my
Um,
god, I
I
have to
mean,
feel for them. But yeah, go ahead.
absolutely. Um, absolutely. And of course it came at the hands of LAFC, so it's like
Mhm.
we feel that. Yeah.
And playoff score update in the 32nd minute. Houston is leading Real Salt Lake 1-0.
Are they?
So
Mm.
let's see here.
Houston feels like a weird dark horse, don't they? They just have
I
this.
I, I have them in the Western Conference Finals.
Do you really?
I have them and Seattle. I think Seattle, now they lost 3-1 against Dallas, and I went back and watched some of that game. It's interesting because that's again, they win convincingly in Seattle, then they kind of go lay an egg and that's that whole, well, then what's the point of a 3 game? Now they got to go back to Seattle. Hopefully they can close it out, but now the onus is on them because now Dallas is like, hey, all we need is one more game. And
Yeah.
you can say that's the exciting part of these playoffs, and that's a fair point. But let's be honest. Like I heard John Tolkien after that first game in Cincinnati say, "Well, yeah, we lost, but goals don't matter at this point." And we've heard a couple
Right.
other players say that, and I think the 2 game aggregate's fine. All right, if Apple really, because let's be honest, we all know this is Apple made the
Hmm.
call. All right, because they
Yeah.
won more games with the deal. I
Of
mean, I
course.
shouldn't say that. I want to be correct,
It's true.
but I
Come
think we
on.
can all kind of read between the lines a little bit. I think honestly, with the playoffs, like for me, they're exciting. Yes,
Hmm.
they're exciting, but again, it's like, are we really going to draw them out? Because when I was in um, post press conference with the players, they wanted to get back and play right away. They didn't
Of
want to
course.
wait
That's
till
the
Wednesday.
problem.
They were
Yeah.
like, "Yo, we're ready to go right now." Like the momentum,
That's just it. The bad part of it is how drawn out it is. This first round is taking forever.
right? And I think kind of the byproduct is some of these teams are really pressing to get this series done so they can kind of get onto that international break. One, but number two,
Yeah.
we get done this round one. Now we got break, and now all the momentum's gone. So Cincinnati, for example, they got all the momentum going into the semis.
Hmm.
But again, it doesn't matter whoever wins because there is no momentum after what, 2 weeks
They're
off.
having such a long break. Yeah.
So I mean, that's going to be kind of interesting to see how these
Yeah.
teams keep this momentum, and
Yeah.
I could see some MLS chaos happening in these playoffs for sure because of
Mhm.
just the lack of this momentum.
Well,
I don't know how you feel, Mike.
think of Sporting Kansas City, right? Like they really
Right.
just kind of like got hot at the right time. For
Mhm.
them, it's like, well, now we
Mhm.
have to wait. Now we have this lull. But like, so the argument that I've heard some people say is it would almost be better to lose on Wednesday, to play on Saturday, to win on Saturday, and let Cincinnati just sit.
Right.
And it's like, and I get that, like I really do, and it's hard for me to fathom. Okay, I'm okay with a loss on Wednesday, but and at the same time, I want to win on Wednesday, so that way we can just get
Right.
healthy. That's the thing. This is the first time we've been healthy. I mean, aside from Glessness, of course, but for me, health is more important in the long run than a little bit of rust. I don't know if you
Yeah.
guys agree with that or not, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I agree. And personally, is it the worst thing if we have to go to a third game? No, but I would like to just get it taken care of. Then, yeah, they can heal up a little bit. And, but yeah, it's so darn, like Jim said, last year, the season was over already.
Mhm.
Yeah. And well, yeah, because we were at the cup last year, and it's funny because I was saying how, all the Facebook memories are coming up, and of course I got a little triggered yesterday on that. But no, I was like, oh yes, this time last year we were bopping around Santa Monica. That's when I got this, right? But that was a little bit of a happier day. We had fun that day. But
And then, of course, ESPN has to go post today that Gareth Bale was at Tottenham Hotspur
Oh my
for
god.
their
he who
game.
shall not be named. That's what I
Yeah.
call him. He's like Voldemort. He shall not be named.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, way to rub it in, ESPN.
Right.
So,
but yeah, of course I had to see that stupid Continental Tire commercial.
I hate that commercial.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
so bad.
It's so bad. But yeah, like so. But back to this playoffs. Yeah, I think just it's frustrating because I don't think the old playoff format was broken. So.
No, I actually liked it. I liked it a lot better last year, and I think everybody agreed that last year's playoff was really good. But it's funny that you guys mentioned last season, and Jim mentions the last season be the MLS Cup. It's been a year now since it's happened. I mean, I know you kind of mentioned there's some triggered points yesterday, but like as a whole, when you look back on that day, was it a good day, bad day? Like, what do you feel about it?
I think at this point I've kind of healed. I can look at it in the fact that I was completely gutted after that. And then to see the Phillies lose the World Series in the same day.
10 minutes later.
That was rough. But overall, it was an amazing experience getting to go to that. I mean, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Going to LA, the fans that we had there were amazing. Us through the tailgate, the march and all that. And like when we went up 3-2, just the stands we were in, I mean, it was shaking so hard. I mean, Kyle kind of blacked out, I think, at that point.
I did.
He was like kind of catatonic, and I'm like going nuts. And he's just
catatonic.
he's just like staring. I have video of it somewhere, but it's funny. But I mean, that moment was amazing. I mean, we had some great memories aside from the loss, obviously, but getting to experience all that. And yeah, like I said, and then we went back to the hotel, and we ran into John Lynch in the elevator in the hotel, which was crazy.
Really?
Just ran into John Lynch because San Francisco was playing that weekend in LA, and like he's just standing there.
Yeah.
And it was just like the random thing. And I'm like sitting there going, that's John Lynch. That's John Lynch.
Yeah, he was very tall.
He's just he's very nice. Very nice talking to us. Just a really cool guy.
Yeah. But
that's awesome.
I mean, for me, I'd do it again. And I've talked to several supporters, fans, people in the media. They do it again in a heartbeat, even if they knew the result. Because I mean, that's a once in a lifetime well, hopefully not once in a lifetime, but I mean, like
you can't take it for granted.
You can't take these things for granted. You just can't in life. You don't know when the next time the Union are going to get back.
Hopefully, we'll get back to it sooner rather than later. But
to that point, if you remember, I was sitting there around after watching the Phillies talking to a lot of Union and LAFC people. I remember LAFC people saying, now, of course, they're happy because they just won the MLS Cup, but they go, no one's ever come into our house and dominated and played a game like that against us. And it was really, that was cool to hear. And they had nothing but good things to say about the Union. Now, again, take that in context.
Of course, they just won.
They just won it. But however, we were talking with a bunch of Union guys, and I said the Union one day, and I still believe this, are going to win the MLS Cup. Yeah, and it's going to be when we least expect it. Maybe not this year.
It could be
this year.
If we get hot the right time, like maybe we bring it. It's like as it's been said many times. Could it be like the Last Dance? And we're going for it. And
there's a lot of possibility, but I believe in my heart of hearts that one day the Union will lift the cup. It's
Well,
just
no, it's funny you see, like, so for example, the Texas Rangers just won their
mm,
first ever World Series this year, and think about
Mhm.
how long they've been
Yeah.
around. Even like Evan Longoria, the player for the Diamondbacks, was in the
Yeah.
World Series last time when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays, and he lost to the Phillies. It's like think of how long he went between World Series.
hmm
Even so, it's
Yep.
like sometimes you wonder, like, is it really ever going to happen? I agree. I think the Union have a strong enough culture and foundation that they eventually will get there. And I know I see the comments coming. So Jim and Valerie both mentioned being at Super Park at the watch party. So while you guys were at the LAFC stadium, I was at the stadium at Super Park as well, as along with Valerie and Jim. And I remember we got there super early. I was with Mike Borton and Gabrielle, and I was with my friend Jay and Kyle Wood, right? Kyle the baby, and we were on
Mhm.
the field together, and it was just like straight insanity. Those 4 minutes after Elliott scored, Kyle, I blacked out. I don't even remember what happened. I was running around like crazy. I may have been dancing. I don't know, but it was just like straight bliss for 4 minutes, and then it was followed up with absolute agony and pain and just
Yeah.
misery. But like I remember
Yeah.
driving home that day, and I was driving home in silence for 50 minutes. I went to Taco Bell and I just sat there and ate by myself in the car, just like what just happened? Like really, like what
yeah.
really just happened? But to your point, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I think it was like one of the best experiences I've ever had as a fan of any sport, Eagles, Sixers, like anything. I thought it was
Mm.
fantastic. So I think you're right, Kyle. I think it's gonna happen when we least expect it. Because look at just football. You had the Patriots, right, when they were just dominant and they lost to the Giants. You had the Warriors when they were unbelievable and they lost to the Cavaliers. So sometimes it's not the best teams that win the title. It's sometimes the wild card team that comes out of nowhere that ends up stealing the show. So
Mhm.
I don't know if the Union have it this year. I'm not sure. I certainly feel better after the first game. What do you? Let's say even if they lost, what do you expect or want to see on Wednesday? Even win or lose, either way.
I definitely want to see us score some goals. Like I do not want to see us get shut out for one thing.
Mhm.
I would love to see um I would love to see Carranza get a good goal here. I feel like he's due for one. Um
He is due for
and
one.
yeah, so more from Ua as well. That was really good to see. Like you said, it was really good to see him put one in. He was at the right place at the right time, and that's
Yeah.
what we've been lacking a lot of times, just not having that, someone there to finish it. So,
Have you
um,
have you, Kyle?
yeah.
I mean, for me, I want the front three to kind of build off that momentum.
Yeah.
Um, obviously, and Danny, see if they can get some more. I'm curious with everything. Uh, obviously, Lowe's going to be in. I need the defense to continue to be sharp. That doesn't mean necessarily a clean sheet because at this point, I'm not sure if we're going to see one. But again, we could. But I just need us to be confident, and if we get an early lead, um, not get complacent because I feel at times, especially in that second half, we kind of just start to zone out,
It happens
and
a
it's like,
lot.
okay, it does, and that it's a thing, we gotta get complacent because we can't get complacent.
We have to get
We can't get complacent. They can't. They gotta keep the pressure going. And they gotta be smart defensively.
Mhm.
That's kind of really where we got because at the end of the day, like we said earlier, the pressure's on New England at this point. They're gonna be going, 90 plus with hey, this is it. So a 2-goal lead right now for the Union. I mean, we know what we say about 2-goal leads in soccer. Not
Yeah.
not great.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have to offensively be strong again and defensively be sound. And if we do that, then and we still lose like a 2-1 game or something like that, but you know, stuff happens. I could live with that. Or, you know.
Absolutely. So Valerie asked a question. Do you know how healed is? Has he healed since his injury? Because he did come off really early, and I don't know.
So
Yeah, go ahead. Do you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think I want to. give a shout out. I think it was Jose posted something. I guess it was their head coach did press conference last week, and he said it was kind of just they're being cautious. He felt something, but he's back and he's fine now, so he will be playing. That's at least what the reports are. I don't know if he'd be playing, but he'd be part of the game. Kind of like what we've heard with Jim say with Danny at times this year with with the need. Like it seems like it was a precautionary thing.
So the lineup that we had this past Saturday was Blake in the back. Of course, we had four in the back with Wagner, Elliott, Lowe, and Harriel. The diamond of Martinez, McGlynn, Gosling, and Bedoya, and we had Uwa and Carranza up top. So now the substitutions were Flock, Donovan, and Sullivan. Bueno did not play on Saturday. Neither did, I guess, Olivier. Now, the only thing with this game on Wednesday is that we do have a quick turnaround on Saturday. It's also on turf, which the weather, the cold, etc. Do you think we go with the same exact lineup and he throws Bedoya out there again for the extended time? I mean, because I don't want to say you want to play more reserved to try to make it to Saturday. I want to go for it and end this now, but at the same time, mentally, I think they might be like, well, we have another game if we lose. I mean, what do you think, Jillian, your approach would be? Would you change the lineup at all, or any thoughts on that?
I don't think I'd change it too much, to be honest. I would love to see a way to get Bueno in there, though. But, I thought that, I thought Bedoya started off pretty good, but he, like he was okay then. But, McGlynn wasn't, it was okay. But I thought, definitely Jack and Damien in the back were fantastic. I thought Damian Lowe was tremendous. I thought Jose Martinez was tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
No yellows, Jose. No yellows, please. Moving forward here. But I thought, the front three did all right. But I think probably that's our strongest lineup, maybe with little tweaks here and there. What do you think, Kyle?
Personally, I probably put Bueno in if just for this game, and then flip it back and maybe have Ale come in and then flip it around for the next game. But let's be honest, Jim is not a creature when it's all said and done. With this is the playoffs. He's gonna go with the same formation, and then he'll go around with the same formation. He's gonna have Ali play 2 90-minute games. That's just how he's gonna roll. Barring any other changes. I mean, really, what are you gonna maybe Bizo and then he flips Harrell? But at this point, Harrell's such a lethal weapon in set pieces this year.
My goodness,
and then with Lowe, you now have 2 good set piece players. I mean, really, why would you take Harrell off?
Nathan is performing the overall production of Harrell by the time the year's over is what I was hoping for from Olivier. Now, maybe not from the assist standpoint. I thought both of them could have done better.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, but
Sorry,
but from a goal standpoint, I want to see Olivier put in at least 3 goals this year, and he got nothing. So what? Nathan had what? He had 2 in Leagues Cup or 1 in Leagues Cup. I think he got 1 in Leagues Cup.
He's had 3 or 4 this year. I'm not 100% sure total.
And he's
overall this year.
But he's dangerous. You really do have to be worried about him on set pieces. I don't think you can justify putting Olivier in. I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't know if you can at this point either. But again, Jim has also been very faithful to Olivier. So,
there's Valerie. 2 in Leagues Cup. Thank you, Valerie.
Thanks, Valerie. Yeah, I think he's had 4 headers this year, because I think he had 1 in the CCL too. I might be wrong in there. That might be low. But anyway, yeah.
Oh, and the reason why I was laughing at Kyle, while he was laughing. Okay, so on the early season predictions, Kyle predicted that Bizo was going to be one of the top. Did you say he was going to be one of the top backs in the season, in the league this season? You say he was going to be top 5 in the league. That was his bold prediction.
I was right there with you, Kyle. I actually thought he was going to have a breakout
season. For sure.
That was a hot take. That was a hot take. That was one of those.
It really wasn't though. Like I feel like it was a reasonable step in his progression. Like it made sense. Like nobody saw Bueno coming out of nowhere like this. Like Olivier was okay. He's got one more year under his belt. He played pretty well last year. He kind of came back out of that the benching he had. I
Hmm.
honestly agree with you. I thought he was going to at least have a few assists, and then he just kind of
Mhm.
went to shit.
Well, and Jim said this, Olivier needs to be more consistent. And if he's
Mhm.
consistent, yeah, maybe not top five, but he's one of the higher up. But the problem is he's not consistent. And the scary part is
No.
that thing turns on a dime with him. Like
Yeah.
he'll be having a good game and then he'll make one or two boneheaded mistakes and the ball's in the back of the net and the game's tied up and we just blew a lead. I mean,
Mhm.
that's the problem.
I hate to break it to you, but Nathan Harrell has been getting a little bit of play on the left side recently, right? I saw him on the left back one time, so maybe next year they test him out on the left back. I hear you groan. I agree with the groan. I hope they don't do that.
I mean, then who's going to play right back? I mean, because if all those rumors that we're hearing, maybe Bizo's out. I mean, the natural fit with the right back position is, I mean, at this point, we'll see what happens, on the left back spot. But Harrell's the natural, progression, just take over that spot, and then I guess you bring in somebody to compete on the left.
I don't think Real's the choice there long term. I think they've kind of made that clear that he's not going to
Jim,
be.
Jim can say all he wants. We all know if we're on those press conferences, he trusts maybe this much of Matt Real. Like this is how much he trusts him. Maybe like in a reserve role, obviously. And there's been times Real's had some nice things here and
Mhm.
there, but he's also had some clunkers when he's gotten in. And that's the thing, when he's gotten in.
When he's gotten it. Yeah, I wouldn't say he's had a bad season. I think he's just had a
No,
what you expected Matt Real to have. To be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't blown away either way.
no.
Um, yeah, I feel like once we saw Nathan on the left hand side again, was it recently, a couple weeks ago? I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Real's
Mhm.
definitely kind of on the way out. I'm actually surprised Olivier has even made it this long because there was rumors that he was okay. That's it. The visa issues weren't working out. He's gone, and yet it's just kind of lingering. We haven't really heard anything since.
Hmm.
I don't know what his plan is for next year. But in terms of the lineup, Kyle, would you make any changes? I forget if I asked you if you made any changes.
Um, For this game, maybe Bueno, but I mean that's really about it. But again, like I said earlier, I don't see us making any change. See the Union Jim making any changes.
Now here's a question for you. Let's say hypothetically we go down 2-0. Do we bring in the subs and kind of just get healthy till game 3? Or do you think would you guys want to go for it and try to tie the game up? Because if you go to PKs, if you tie the game up, you at least go to PKs, or do you just kind of call it a game and just wait for game 3? Because that's what it seems like some teams could be doing.
I mean, at this point, I think you should probably rest and get ready for the third game. But again, I could see Jim trying to crawl back in. Who knows? I guess it would depend on the situation, how late that goal comes. Because if that
Mhm.
comes in like the 80th minute, then maybe it's like, all right, get everybody off, give them a break, and let's
Yeah, I
get
think
back to
that's a good
Chester.
point. If it was like early in the game,
Yeah, if
you
it's
know that
early,
2-0 lead is
first half.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you get a goal in that second, like, little window right there, like, coming right off the second half. Now it's 2-1.
Mhm.
But again, maybe that's the situation. Bueno's starting to bring out Ale in for the last 20. He's feeling good. He creates some chances, for the attack. We'll see.
Mhm.
Yeah, and also we didn't see Baribo at all, which I guess he's just out of the roster. Have you guys heard anything about Baribo since? Because he wasn't in the match last time. I think he's kind of just out for the Israeli thing.
He had a knock,
Yeah.
and Jim kind of left it up in the air. Obviously he brought that up about the 4 matches coming up during this international window, but it sounded like he just had a minor knock and that he'll be fine. Obviously, Jim's doing his presser tomorrow, so we'll find out more. But
Yeah, it sounded like he'd possibly be available for Wednesday, but then
yeah,
he'll be leaving for,
they
the
can't.
national team for
That's what it
Israel.
sounded like. So
Yeah, well, the press
We'll
conference, of
see.
course, will be interesting tomorrow. As Kyle, as you said, I don't know if he'll be on the presser or not. I think Jose will probably be trying to cover the presser tomorrow. Of course, we have to worry about Kai Wagner's availability. I know we won't talk about too much because there's so many different allegations, and we've already heard
Mhm.
things go across the internet that won't be repeated here. But essentially, there is a reality that if Kai may not be available, so we'll find out a lot tomorrow. Hopefully, all positive news for the Union and for their Wednesday matchup. Where will you guys be watching the game on Wednesday?
We will be watching on our couch probably.
I'm supposed to. Well, I'm supposed to coach
Yeah,
till like
we both are supposed to
8:15.
coach. So
But I might try to see if my assistant can run it, so I can stay home and watch it on the couch, so I don't have to like try to watch it on my phone and, you know, and all that. But yeah, so that's the game plan there.
game plan probably is just hang out here on the couch, watch that, and then see where it goes from there. And then
Would you guys go on Sunday if they play for game 3?
Oh
oh
yeah,
yeah, I'll be there.
absolutely.
Of
And we
course. I
don't
mean,
have
why
any
why should I
swim
even
meets this
ask?
time.
Of course you will be.
Of course, yeah,
I mean, we're following them throughout these playoffs as
yeah,
far as it goes. I mean,
yeah.
except for this game because it's on a weekday, and of course, we both work, so it's like hard for us to go with
But
our schedules.
yeah, I mean, we get through this round and we go to Cincy, we're probably going.
You're
So
gonna go to
Oh, we're going.
Cincinnati?
We're
What
oh
day
yeah,
would it be on?
we're gonna road
we're
trip that.
going.
We're gonna
We're
road trip
going.
that. It would be over like just after Thanksgiving, like that weekend. And so that's perfect
And
because
then depending on what happens after that, we might either be heading down to Disney World, or might as well stay in Ohio,
That's true.
possibly.
Columbus, possible.
Yeah,
No, we would. Won't we host Columbus? Oh, no, the third
no, we
seed, right?
won't.
That's right. That's
Mm-mm.
right.
We would
Um,
either. The only way we would get away with that is if Atlanta or Nashville.
yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah.
And I don't really want to play Atlanta, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm tempted to go to Cincy. I might have to. I might have to just drive. Now that you guys are kind of tempting me to do it, especially if it's on a weekend. I think
carpool road trip.
carpool. There you
Good
Yeah,
go.
time.
apparently a whole bunch of people are
Yeah,
already
that'd be
talking about it.
fun.
So, but obviously, first we can't get ahead of ourselves.
No.
We gotta take care of business first.
So
Yes, absolutely. So Wednesday night, the game I think is on at 7 o'clock. Wednesday night, perfect night. It's not too late on a weeknight. I will be at Zed's in Marlton. So if anybody's local to me in Jersey, please come down. Actually, the owner of Zed's, Jeff, or one of the co-owners, I should say, he said they're having like a Sons of Ben membership raffle. So they'll have a raffle around halftime. The winner will get a membership for next season taken care of, basically.
cool.
So nice little,
Nice.
nothing too
Nice.
crazy, nice little treat. Jeff and Lori are from Zed's. Very cool people. Their beers are excellent. I have honestly enough in the fridge right now for me to drink for next few days. So they're very good. If you guys are ever in Jersey, please come down to Zed's with me and
I
have
would love to.
Yes, they're very fun.
Yeah. My cousin actually lives in Marlton, so yeah. I would love to do something like that. Yeah.
We're practically
Yeah.
neighbors then. That's awesome. Well, listen, before we go, I want to hear some score predictions, and then we'll call it nice since it's 10 o'clock on a Monday. So, Jillian, you first. What's your score prediction for Wednesday?
I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic. I'm going 2-1 Union.
Okay, I like it. Very good. Kyle, how about yourself?
You know me, I don't make predictions. If I'm going with my gut,
Yeah.
I think I see everybody on Sunday. Here's my thought: is if we can get 2 goals early in that first half, and then, like I said earlier, stay brave. Like Jim always says, stay brave and be consistent.
Yeah.
Then I think we got a shot. PKs, I kind of like our chances, but we all know with their backup goalie. But again, PKs are crapshoot. We never know how they go.
And yes, backup
So-
goalies.
Yeah, true.
Let's not get
okay. Yeah. No, it's gonna be a toss up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a toss up, and the
Mhm.
Union have lost already. I think didn't Minnesota had their backup goalie in the Open Cup this year. So yeah.
That's right.
I'd like to see the Union close it out on Wednesday, but my
Mhm.
gut just, I don't know.
I
It's
could
gonna be
also
a
see
tough
it
one.
being like 1-0 or something
Yeah.
like that. But
I worried too that if the game does feel like it's going to be a draw, that the substitutions that he makes are not helpful with the PK. So as we know that he takes Ua off for Donovan or Sullivan, it's most likely going to be Donovan. And it's like, do you take Ua off and just, risk not having that PK? Also, Jack McGlynn has done well in PKs, but he also kind of seems to be like predictable with his PKs. So it's like, I know Jack Elliott's surprisingly like really
Mm-hmm.
spot on
Mhm.
from the PK spot. Valerie says, I'm with Kyle. No prediction for Wednesday. I just want to win and no game on the 12th. Listen, I agree with you all.
Right on.
Mhm.
I'm not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be positive here. So I'm going to go 2-1 as well with Jillian and Jim. I'm hoping they do it. And Sunday that's like a full bye week for us, Jillian. No Eagles game,
Mhm.
no Union game of the
Yes.
weekend. Just relax, have a good time, and that's it. But anything else before we go? I know some of the people that we follow, that follows us rather, follow you guys as well. But for those of those who don't follow you guys, plug your show away. Tell us where we can find you, and we'll sign off for the night.
So you can find us on Twitter at TOTWAG, the one team we agree on. And we are on Facebook and Instagram at the one team we agree on.
Yep.
And you can find us on all your podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, all those.
And we just released episode 50. So that's out now.
Very good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we had fun putting it together. Just kind of a little recap in between our collab with the Free Kick that we did discussing Media Day, and then we decided to drop episode 50. So yeah, and we got some guests lined up here. Hopefully this week still. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, and moving into the off season, we'll have some fun shows. Obviously, she'll probably do some more fashion stuff.
Oh
like she
yes, I
likes.
definitely have some fashion too. And thanks, Jim, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually. Oh, I got myself one of those bootleg MLS Jose Martinez
Yes.
shirts. I'm wearing it.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, I think we need to do more fashions.
we're gonna do some fashion stuff. We'll probably do another what if. We did one of those last year. I think it was like our third episode. We'll probably do that. We'll have a prediction show, and then we'll probably just talk to fans and anybody wants to talk Union, tell their story, how they became a fan of the team. Just have some good conversation during the off season. Get ready for because let's be honest, we're gonna probably only have like 30 to 60 days, depending on how long this postseason run goes. Because you already saw the CCC schedule; they're starting early February or middle February.
We're gonna be freezing our butts off. I mean, it was cold this year. Oh my Lord! Like
we do not get a break at all. We really
We
don't.
do not.
It's like we can say, "Hey, we won the MLS Cup, and we're playing next week." Like it's just like that. It's a quick turnaround. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Go ahead, Kyle.
What was it? It's like if Houston, let's say like a team like Houston, I forget what how they're determining who does the first wave of games and then the whole second wave of games. I think it's like CONCACAF rankings or whatever. But like a team like Houston or Orlando, or a team that's lower that makes the MLS Cup final, let's say they lose, so they probably wouldn't get like a bye or something. But if it's like a lower seeded team, you got to go and then run right back through probably like in 30 days because you got to figure playing that second week of February, I believe. I just want to be right on that. But you're probably going to have to start your preseason, like early January. So you're really only going to get like 30 days off. And that's, as somebody in athletics, that's way too little time after you just went March till December. And then you're taking 30 to your body. That's going to be interesting, like kind of backstory for next year. Some of these teams that are going to be playing early on, how they're recovering.
And that's where some teams that left the League's Cup early almost benefited because, like, well, I can kick back and relax now for 3 weeks. At least you saved your legs for 4 or 5 games, as an example, compared to the Union, who went all the way to the end there, basically. Even like this little like friendly we have from NYCFC against Miami. It's just like it's just an unnecessary game in November that it doesn't even be played. Valerie says, I already bought. Oh, hold on. Sorry, Valerie. I took your comment off. I already bought. Oh my god, my screen. I already bought a set of new long johns and an Arctic cap in preparation for February games. Absolutely, we have to be warm out there.
Mhm.
I just bought the Sons of Ben raincoat that was being
Nice.
Nice.
it's I think Rachel said it was going to come around December or so. So perfect right before the season ends slash begins. But again, the fashion thing is great. I think the MLS bootleg stuff, which I know Jillian, you're wearing that right now. Um,
Mhm.
he was on our show last week and he talked about
Yep.
Mhm.
the curtain shirt he put out and the Bedoya shirt he has going. And now he has a whole sweater with the dupe thing across of it.
Mhm.
I just take my money. I'm just gonna start direct depositing right into his shop every single week, and it's amazing. I love the soccer stuff. But yeah, you guys are a great show. You're 50 episodes now. You're basically now it's official. You're an officially a full fledged podcast. Made 50 episodes, right? You hit it, the
Yeah.
benchmark. No, but you guys have been definitely the most up and coming podcast, I think, in the union community. It's pretty exciting stuff. It's awesome.
Well, we
Thank you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Appreciate it.
so again, thank you for joining me tonight. I needed help today with Dave and Jose being out of commission on tonight. Actually, Jose is interviewing Jesus Bueno, so we'll expect to release
Yeah.
that. We have one more interview scheduled for Wednesday. I won't leak that yet. I'll let Jose take care of that. Besides that, this is Across the Pitch. We're on every single Monday night, usually 8:45 tonight, a little bit later. The next time we're going live, the Union will either be advancing to the next round of playoffs or they will be sent home. So we'll see. Hopefully, a good episode. Otherwise, thank you guys again. Go Union.